Up and down.
And we're back.
Notice I put the better chair in there.
Thank you.
I can't stand it.
It cradles my butt just right.
This is what happens on breaks at a radio station. Talked about filtering music, breaking chairs, cradling butts.
Butt cradle.
And that's why it's the man apocalypse.
So exciting.
The race that is slowly dying.
Shush.
She thinks
We're gonna
men
keep it
are
alive.
a race.
Yeah, we are a race.
No. Need to be a race. There's a difference.
Yeah, right.
You guys are messed
But
up.
we're gonna keep it alive.
Yeah, still have 1:50 on the song, by the way. So. We need to go out with Britney Spears.
Yes, there's nothing more manly. Oops, I did it again.
Hit Me Baby one more time.
That's like the extent of our songs that I can name.
That's about it. Grooming, health and fitness, under control. I'll be amazed if I can remember that. Well, I never turned the monitor back then.
I'll be amazed if I can remember our
Oh,
outro.
I did. Finish big, finish strong. Finish strong. Oh, yeah. Nobody's watching live. I can do shit like this. Here we go. Godsmack, Rocky Mountain Way, and this time I didn't screw it up. Woo! There you go. Welcome back to the Manpocalypse Radio Show on the SKO Radio Network. I'm Aaron. He's Mike.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, give you just a friendly reminder here, talking about the benefits that we are putting on for Stan Pyatt. Again, for those of you who don't know, and I was amongst one of them up until maybe about 2 hours ago.
We're still new.
We're still new, so, and I'm a foreigner, so deal with me. Stan Pyatt was part of the morning show at WNIR here in Northern Ohio for many years, decades, plural. Was part of the morning show 6 days a week, every morning, got us going. Recently retired to relax, have a good time, play some golf, and just try to get the best out of life. And then life threw him a curveball.
Those plans were derailed.
Kind of like Andrew Miller, because back in November he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, started spreading through his body. His medical insurance paid for some of it, but the bills are starting to pile up, and they're starting to pile up pretty high. So we here at SKO Radio are putting together a couple of really good fundraisers. The first one's going to be on July 3rd, Tuesday night, July 3rd, 7 p.m. at the Funny Stop Comedy Club here on State Road in Cuyahoga Falls.
Worth checking out.
Our own Tony the Comedy Killer Hayden is going to be emceeing the event. Tony was one of Stan's most favored callers to his morning show. He'll be emceeing the event. Some of the comedians who are going to be taking part of this include Mike Conley, Katrina Brown, Bill Bendon, and Jeff Blanchard. The venue is donating their time and space. The comedians are donating their time. All the proceeds are going completely to benefit Stan and his family. $10 gets you in the door, but more is appreciated. Like I said, the kickoff, the doors open at 7 o'clock. The show will start shortly after that. So come in early, come in often, enjoy.
Go out, support a good cause, have a good time, have a few laughs. It'll be worth it, guys.
The other fundraiser that we're doing is on Sunday, July 22nd from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the AMF Riviera Lanes in Fairlawn on South Miller Road. We're doing a Scotch doubles bowling benefit. I have not bowled competitively for over 20 years. Do not ask me what Scotch doubles is. But, Deb is our general manager. Deb will be there. Our owner Earl will be there. They'll be more than happy to tell you anything you need to know about that.
And I've only ever bowled drunkenly, so.
There you go. And, you probably underhand.
No.
Hiking through
I
that.
can get a good spin on it, but usually I'm spinning when I do the spin, so hey, it works.
There you go. I usually I get drunk enough, I usually mistake it for a soccer ball. That's where, that's why I have ankle problems now.
Foolishness does tend to happen.
We are going to be doing the Scotch doubles bowling. The cost for the event is $30 per team. You'll be bowling 3 games. We're also going to have a silent auction, 50-50 raffle. There's some really good prizes going along for that. However, if you're interested in donating prizes to either the silent auction or the 50-50 raffle, or you just want to help out in any way with the bowling event,
We greatly appreciate it.
give us a call at the SKO offices. The number here at the office is 234-706-5857, or you can call our general manager, Deb, directly. Her number is 234-900-9770. Side note, tomorrow night's some kind of radio show, Friday night radio show, Earl and the boys. They will be having Stan's daughter, Stacy, live in studio to talk about Stan, to talk about his career, to talk about some of these fundraisers. So tune in tomorrow night between 8 and midnight. Give a listen and help support these wonderful causes. So we were talking about some of the things that we wanted to crack open for the third and final hour of our Manpocalypse. And if I don't stop rubbing my belly, I need to stop watching Facebook Live, because I'm sitting over here and I'm rubbing my belly. It's annoying me. So anybody who's watching, it's like,
You got this whole
what
Buddha
the
thing
hell
going
are
on.
you doing to yourself? Yeah, I got the whole Buddha thing going on. I really need some good luck here. All right, so as I mentioned, a couple of things that we wanted to touch on here for the last hour, and we were trying to throw some topics here. And one thing that kind of struck me here was one thing that men have kind of let fall to the wayside is good grooming. And I'm saying this to a man with a big burly beard here.
Not quite so burly as it was.
Not as burly as I've seen. I work in downtown Cleveland in an office environment, and I've seen people walking around downtown Cleveland with lumberjack beards. The only way I can describe it, just big, bushy, manly beards, and it's a very masculine look, but it certainly isn't a very professional look.
No.
And all I can think of is how does that exude what you do for a living? Now I can get behind if you're doing an outside job, if you're going to be out in in a construction area, or if you're in a wooded area, or if you're doing something outside a lot, and having had a number of variety of beards over the course of my lifetime, I know that it does provide a level of warmth, especially in the winter months. But
like anything, men can take it too far.
Yes, they can take it very too far. The one thing, this is something that has just absolutely stuck in my craw for as far back as I can remember. When I see somebody who has just the full manly lumberjack beard and a shaved head, that makes my hair hurt. It makes my hair hurt. I don't have hair to hurt. It's like the end of the Avengers movie. You're shaving here up at top, but the face, we're going to leave that alone. You're either confused or lazy. Which one? Help me out with this here. because I can't get there. I can't make this it doesn't make the fire, it doesn't make the synapses fire correctly in my head. We have the bald head, which we shave, which we go through and we groom daily. We shave daily. Face, oh, we're going to stop here. Just, guys, come on, really? I mean, a nice trim beard, maybe a 5-guard or a 6-guard, something that you make it nice and trim, get it smooth, even line, and everything uniform, and you're good. You look professional, you look manly, you look rugged. Women will not run and scream when they see you, and you're doing fine.
See, I think honestly it comes back to a lot of guys of a certain age are starting to feel the fact that everything manly is being stripped away from us, or trying to be stripped away from us. And in some way, shape, or form, they're trying to hang on to that. I mean, the bald head, number one, the bald head, I don't think any guy really likes or looks forward to actually going bald. So I think once a lot of guys start going that direction, they just shave it. It's either all or nothing at this point. But the beard, I think it's kind of a manly cry for help. We want our manliness back, and a beard is something we can do that women can't.
There you go. Now, I'll go so far as to say, that you've hit the nail on the head. Also, when you're grooming the head, it saves you an ass ton of cash on haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
You do not have to go to the barber. You don't have to go to the salon or wherever you go. You just take out the razor and do it yourself. I cannot remember the last time I actually got my hair cut professionally. It's been so long I couldn't tell you. The person who used to do my hair has not only stopped doing hair, but has gotten married and moved to Florida. So that's how long ago it's been.
According to Earl,
I
need to correct myself. Some women do have beards, and that's a true story. And as far as
I don't even want to know where that's going to go.
As far as what other guys shave, Earl, that's a different kind of grooming that we just don't really want to get into.
I think Ben and Friends airs on Monday nights. I believe Ben will be more than happy to go into that kind of grooming for you. Or, if I'm not mistaken, he does join you on Fridays. Perhaps you can
ask Ben tomorrow.
Ask Ben tomorrow night in front of Stacy. Good luck with that. That's going to go over like a lead balloon. There was no safe way out of that one, sir. None at all. We go from grooming into something that really kind of hits home for at least me on a personal level, and that's health and fitness. There was a time for a very long time where I did not have to worry about fitness because everything I ate would just automatically fell off. I had the metabolism of a jackrabbit. And I would have to say that I think it was in my early 20s, mid to late 20s, where that just kind of fell off. And I kept eating like I was a teenager. Taco Bell for breakfast was a staple. And the fitness just went away. Now,
as we pointed out, we both like to eat.
We both like to eat. And what has happened over the course of time is that the body has said, well, you've spent many decades doing what you want to do. Now I'm going to show you why you should be doing what you need to do. So, there are certain foods that I can enjoy, but there's many that I should stay away from or enjoy with such small moderation that it's almost not even worth it to try.
And typically the foods that I should enjoy in small moderation are the foods that I don't enjoy in small moderation.
I have a hard time with pizza. I love pizza. That meme that says I'm into fitness Fitness whole pizza. in my
Fitness whole
mouth.
yep.
That's me. That was that. I wrote that in my dreams, but it's me all the way. We're talking about grooming, and all of a sudden my mustache itches like nobody's business.
Well,
I'm sitting here doing this the whole time. Anybody watching Facebook is like, "How much cocaine did you snort?" Nothing. My nose is itching like crazy. We're talking about face hair, and now my mustache itches.
Well, Earl's still going on about other grooming, so
Yeah, well, man, I think he's dropped off so he could take care of his other grooming.
maybe.
He's at home alone tonight, so he can do that.
Anyway, health and fitness.
Health
We're
and
becoming fat fucks.
Yeah, I mean, pizza is one of my weaknesses. And the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I despised pizza. I absolutely despised pizza. I would not touch it. I would tear up garlic bread like nobody's business.
I've been
But-
a fan for life.
Mozzarella cheese. When I was a kid, I couldn't. It was the mozzarella cheese. I couldn't stand cheese. I'm still not a really big cheese guy. But what brought me around was when someone introduced me to the idea of, okay, well, every time we went to go get pizza, first of all, it was always from the one pizza place that even in adulthood I can't stand at all, in no way, shape, or form, because it's literally the greasiest pizza on the planet. You could wring it out and the grease would just cover your counter.
There's
And-
one place worse. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
And the other thing is, okay, so there are other pizza places that make pizza so much better than this. Also, you could put other stuff on it.
Yeah.
Stuff you like bacon, onions.
And bacon.
The person who invented barbecue chicken pizza is my superhero.
Now,
That-
see,
that's- That's my Black Panther right there.
I'm a giant sucker for buffalo chicken pizza.
So, and deluxe pizzas and
Oh my
all-meat
God.
pizzas.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. And so now, pizza's a thing for me. And in the state where it's like, okay, well, you gotta watch the dairy, and you gotta watch the carbs. You're gonna give me a slice, maybe two. I'll tell you what, you give me a slice, maybe two. They better be New York style.
Yeah.
They better be like yay big, like 12 inches long.
I better have to fold that thing just to be able to pick it up.
I better have to make the faux pas of using a fork and knife and get yelled at for it because I'm fitness in my mouth.
But that's just it. I mean,
And that's the thing. It's like we and that's a manly thing. That's totally a manly thing. We gravitate towards the things that are the worst for us.
yeah.
I could circle back around to the first hour where we talked about the drinking games. I gravitated towards the drinking. It was so bad for me, but it was so good.
Yeah.
I gravitate towards the pizza. It's so bad for me, but it's so good. Another one is chicken wings.
Oh,
Okay.
all day long.
Now, I've gotten to the point where if you give me a choice, I want all drumsticks. Because it's one of those where I could put the drumstick in my mouth and just
And just
pull
strip the meat right off of
it. And so, and the problem is I can take down 30, 40 of those
Easy.
without even batting an eye. Now, I have to spend the entirety of the remainder of the week like mainlining insulin like it's my friend,
Right.
because the sauce on those wings will make me pass out like Ben. But
Fortunately, I've avoided that problem up to this point, but I'll tell you what, I'm going there.
and the thing is and again, as men and as fathers, I'm diabetic. My wife is diabetic. Our daughter, we know at some point, a doctor's going to say, it's nothing you did. Your parents just screwed you over.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we have a caller. Hang on just a second. I'm just going to pull this off without screwing it up tonight. This is the Man Apocalypse Radio Show. You are on the air. Hi.
This is Jason. How's you doing?
Doing well. Jason, yourself?
Virginia Indian boy that got the first that was on the Ohio sucker, the Ohio River stop was him at first, the Indian boy. Because
Okay.
I'm like road trips and local casinos around here, but a local one by. You know what I mean? But when I wanted to that never, I wasn't the that said, I'll be there that bro. And so
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm going to tell you when we're there.
Yeah, hey, I wasn't just look at how the farms. Anyway, my quest is this new house so for me.
I'm sorry. Let me get that question one more time.
This house so for me. We were talking about the house now, and I was listening. Is that what the show's about on Thursday night?
The show on Thursday night is just manliness in general. Sometimes we're making fun of stuff. Sometimes we're talking about how men should act and they don't.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think I'm not fat, but I think I should lose some weight. I try walking more.
Mm-hmm.
And, I tried dieting and don't know the eat this like I go to one sports bar on
Right.
half and I'm like I'm trying to sweat off the sports bar menu I'm tired of.
That sports bar menu is a tough one. Absolutely. But you're absolutely right, Jason. You're absolutely right. You were talking before, and we were getting to the point where we were talking about some of the foods that, you know, that are guilty pleasures, and we get to the fitness portion of it where, you know, at least, at the very least, what you want to try to do is, you know, get active in some way, shape, or form. Now, what I've been doing, especially since I work in a very large urban area, in a very large downtown area, is I just get out at my lunch break and I walk around. I walked around, you know, I kind of walked pretty much about, you know, 10 city blocks of the downtown area to try to just to try to get some to try to get some exercise in. I can't do a whole lot of running. I can't do a whole lot of heavy calisthenics. I'm still nowhere near ready to be able to do that kind of sweating, but at least getting out and walking, getting my steps in, and getting that kind of energy to burn those kind of calories. If I can match that with eating, fitness pizza in my mouth a lot less often than I really want to, and eating a little bit more sensibly as I should, then, you know, that fitness is going to come. You know, I've really gotten to a point where that it's no longer an option for me. I'd love to be able to have choices, but those, you know, I kind of lived the lifestyle that I wanted to live for many years, and now I have to. That choice was taken away from me, and I have to live a lifestyle that's more sensible, or I'm not going to have much of a lifestyle to live.
So to stop right on my mom, I said, "That's not the very pop there."
Right.
And only pop back. It's on weekends or about the dinner. Like the wine, the flavor, the wine.
Right.
Yeah, pop's a killer.
Yeah.
I drink.
And you know what flavor wine does? What wine does?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's kind of what I've been what I've been nursing since we got on the air at 7:00 this afternoon. Is I've been working on. I actually went out when I first did the board out a couple of weeks ago for the Friday night show. There was our general manager Deb had this great flavored water here, and I thought, oh my God, this is great stuff. I could drink this all show long. I couldn't find the great flavored water, but I did find something similar to it, which also has vitamins and electrolytes. So not only am I drinking water and staying hydrated and doing it in a way that's, you know, more tasty to me, because Grape's one of my favorite flavors next to, like strawberry. But, I'm also getting more vitamins and staying, I made the joke earlier that, my water has electrolytes because it's what the plants crave.
Right?
Because, we went on for a good hour tangent about, idiocracy at work. So, but yeah, I'm trying to stay hydrated and that's a big part of it too.
No,
Earl's not here today. Earl will be in tomorrow night at the some kind of radio show from 8 to midnight. It's just Aaron and Mike tonight.
Yep.
Wednesday night?
That's Tony.
Wednesday night is Sports Truck with Tony.
The comedy killer.
What did he do?
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah, we're here Thursday nights trying to get our show on the road here.
All right, Jason. Well, thank you so much for the call. We do appreciate. Don't be a stranger. We will talk to you again next week, all right? All right, you take
All right,
care.
thanks for calling in, man.
All right, Jason. He's a regular. It's good to hear from Jason. We got more people lining up here on the Facebook feed. Good to hear from everybody. One of the things that we were talking about, we were starting to get into fitness, and we talked a little bit about the walking. I talked about some of my walking. You do a lot of
I do a lot of hiking.
You do a lot of photo shooting in the parks and everything. That's a lot of hiking.
Yeah, I actually I do a lot of that actually on my own. I'll go out, find a local park wherever I'm at,
Yep.
and try to find trails and hike them and take pictures along the way. Like most of my photo shoots, like my Father's Day shoot, very limited hiking. But when I go out, I'm definitely trying to do something to stay active.
Mhm.
3 years ago, I was actually really big into lifting and working out again, and it was great. But at some point, I realized I'm getting too old for this. But no, seriously, I mean, dude, let's face it, man. We eat a lot. We're getting older. We are becoming the dad bods.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We're becoming the dad bods. And I don't care how many people say that women love them. My wife doesn't love the dad bod. She can say she does all she wants, but no, she doesn't.
Well,
The dad bod is not a thing.
Well, the dad bod's the dad bod's a thing. It's just not a very attractive.
No.
And the thing is that when you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, I think it comes back to, we could, and again, it comes back to doing what feels good for you. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't really say, well, I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to look good because, so and so wants me to, drop 50 pounds and be Hunkalicious boy toy. Well, if you're doing it for somebody else, then, you've got the wrong motivation. I would like to be able to climb up a flight of stairs and not hurt. That would be great.
Be able to breathe.
Mostly because the studio's on the second floor and I usually need an hour before I can get on the air. But again, it's just wanting to be able to do something for yourself. Another big part of fitness.
I think as we get older, and especially, as we get married and have a family, and this is in no way, shape, or form a jab at our wives or our kids or anyone else, but we spend so much time doing for our family that we don't have the time to really do for ourselves anymore, and being healthy and fit is a commitment. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So we become the dad bod.
And that was something that I was putting together thoughts on earlier today, in that there, a lot of times in being fathers, we're so much torn between what we want to do and what we should do. We want to spend time with the kids and go outside and play and go to the mall and go shopping and paint fingernails and make stupid videos and blah, blah, blah. We should be napping and exercising and resting and things like that. But, you know, I got to a point where I was thinking, at some point, I don't want my daughter to think of me as the dad that's always taking a nap, that's always tired. Because I am always tired. You know, I get up, I get up, 3 hours before I have to be to work. I get home an hour after I'm done with work. And 2-3 hours after that, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah.
I get up and no one else is awake. I get home, we have dinner, we spend maybe an hour doing whatever. Maybe we're watching TV. We try to watch baseball games because that's one of the things that one of the few things that all of us in the house enjoy. And then, you know, aside from me passing out on the recliner, it's like, okay, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to go upstairs and lie down. And, you know, that's the weekday. And many Saturdays, I'm like, I just really want to catch up on my sleep. But everybody sleeps in until noon. So
yeah, during the week, I mean, unless you want to get up at, you know, sorry, Facebook comments.
Yes.
Unless
Yes, Pat, we are all becoming the fat people on Wally that
Yes,
we have our own hover chairs.
But unless you want to get up super early and try to fit in a workout, which I don't know about you, but I can't wake up and just go anymore. I got to wake up. I got to have that cup of coffee and actually realize that I'm out of bed and moving, which takes time. And then, like you said, you get home, you've got limited time to do anything with your kids, limited time to do anything or talk to your wife, and then you're back in bed starting all over again.
I get up first thing in the morning and I have to have 2 cups of coffee, my pills, my insulin, and the TV shows I've neglected all week.
Yeah.
And maybe by then, somebody, one of the 2 of them will be up, and then I can make breakfast.
Right.
And if not, well, okay, then I go upstairs and futz around on the computer until somebody wakes up.
But then you hit the weekend, and okay, if you're lucky enough to have a 2-day weekend, we're spending 1 day just trying to catch up.
Yep.
You know, so when am I going to work out? When am I going to actually get in shape? I have to actually incorporate my family into those and take my family on those hikes and things like that. You know.
And having children the age that we have, that's not as hard as it seems. You let them loose and then try to catch them.
Yeah.
It's a lot
be in
easier
shape
than it
or you'll
sounds.
die.
It's like, all right, here, go run across this park, and I'll try to catch you. There you go. I'm going to emphasis on try.
Before you get too far, here's my phone. You remember how to dial 911.
Actually, send your mom over to the other end of the park. Go chase mom,
Go get mom.
and I'm going to try to catch you. We'll see if it works. I think the last thing that we wanted to touch on here, and boy, we came up with
Be a
this.
fun one.
We came up with this, and we're like, oh man, this could have been another 3-hour topic. What did you say? With anger management or
Anger in general.
anger in
Just
general?
men being angry.
Boy, you know, there are a lot of times, and you know, in recent weeks, I can, you know, I know that the anger has kind of gone hand in hand with the pain. When I'm not feeling well, I can really kind of let loose, and that's been one of those where I had to be very careful, especially in my professional life, where I can't say the wrong thing to, you know, one of my clients, because then that's ballgame.
Yeah.
Then I'm doing this for a living and not getting paid for it. But you know, anger is you know, anger, you know, dealing with anger and anger management, if you will, is really a good sign of manliness, because all too often when men get angry, they get very angry. There have been times where, especially, you know, when you tell, for instance, you tell your kids, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, you know, and you know, angry dad has to come out and
Yeah.
play. So the fun part is really trying to rein that in and knowing when you can feel that ire rise up in you, and being able to say, look, I'm going to do XYZ to decompress. Knowing what your triggers are and knowing how to come down from that. And part of that is also having enough of a support system that will let you walk away
Definitely.
from an angry situation and say, I need to be somewhere else right now. I'm getting angry. And if you do not want me to yell at you or hit you with an iPad, I need to be over there to decompress.
Well, and I think, it goes back to some of the stuff we were talking about earlier and how we were raised. I think men have been pretty commonly raised to just hold it all in.
Mm.
And, kind of like your example of don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. I said, you know what I mean? We kind of keep it all tied in, and then we reach that breaking point. And when we do, God, we're assholes.
Mhm.
We really are. We can go from zero to asshole in no time. And I think that is a pretty common manly trait.
Yeah, I think anger though is probably one of the few things we were not taught to hold in. We were taught to hold, if you're sad or if you're depressed or if you're feeling any other kind of emotion, hold that in. People don't want to see that. But if you're angry and if you feel like you have a right to stand up and be angry about something, let that freak fly,
loose.
And there's a time and a place to be angry. There is certainly a time and a place to be angry. I was in line at a fast food restaurant. My wife and I and my daughter, we were in line at a fast food restaurant. We were ordering separately because we were paying with separate means
Right.
of. And this woman behind us was absolutely just not having any part of anything that was going to delay her from from getting her food. So my wife ordered, and I was getting ready to order, and she just, stepped aside from my daughter and stepped right in front of me and started ordering. And I looked at her and said, "I'm sorry. Did you think that I was going to let you just jump in front of me?" And she just started rambling on and ranting and ranting and ranting. And I just kind of, gave her a little face palm, and I started giving the woman my order. Okay. So as I'm giving this woman I gave the woman my order, and then we stepped down to where we pick up our food. She gave the woman her order, and she's still, hemming and hawing with me, and I'm giving her the what for. I'm like, hey, you know what? You started yelling at me, so maybe you can just shut the
Go at your ass.
Okay. So we step over, and Bella's standing next to me, and she's standing next to Bella, and she keeps pushing Bella.
It's
And I
all
said-
over right there.
And I said, lady, if you put your hands on my daughter one more time, I don't care who you are. I'm going to flatten you. And she lost her stuff. She's like, are you threatening me? I'm like, you're touching my daughter.
Yeah.
Go stand somewhere else or I'll move you. And the people, they started, talking to her and trying to calm her down.
Right.
Because big, bad, burly, angry man just told her I was going to, lay her out. And I told her, I said, she's pushing my kid around.
Yeah.
Do you have kids? Do you want to see some, oversized woman who can't get her fast food fast enough, pushing your kids around? I'm telling you, if she comes over here again and starts pushing my kid around, you better call the police because it's going to get
Yeah, it's done at that point.
And then my wife started talking to her, and she's all apologetic to my wife. I looked over at her and I'm like, you are the lowest form of humanity ever, pushing kids around. You just, you know what? I hope you choke on your food. I literally said that to her as I'm walking out. I hope you choke on your food.
Yeah.
Because you found a point for me to give me a right to be angry. You messed with my kids.
Yep.
Okay. Anger management? Yeah, probably. But you stepped over a line. You stepped over a very big, very important line.
Right.
There probably could have been a million different ways I could have handled it. But in that moment, no, was not going to have it. And you know what? We got in the car, we took our food, and we went home. And until now, I kind of forgot about that story. I'm like, crazy woman, mess with my kid. I messed with her back. I put the fear of
Fear of something.
I put the fear of French fries in her.
Right.
And she went to the other side of the restaurant. She's like, this guy's gonna go nuts. I'm like, I'm pushing my kid around. What do you expect? So I mean, and that as men, we're taught that there are time. There are times to be angry. There are not a lot of times to be angry. Okay.
But that's one of them that you brought up. We're definitely taught that, when it comes to family and defending family,
Mm-hmm.
there's no stopping me. There's no holding me back. I'm going to get angry. At the very least, I'm going to get angry.
Right.
It's kind of like the saying that I love, I will do great and terrible things for those I love.
Yep. I read a story once. I think this happened a little bit further north than where we are now. Guy was arrested for stabbing his girlfriend because she picked up his Chinese food and forgot the rice.
Yeah.
That is not appropriate.
That's not appropriate. You
That's
need help at that point.
that's where you need some anger management. That's not something to go off on.
No.
If she forgot the rice, Uncle Ben's is pretty cheap. Go down to Walmart and go get some.
You definitely need to know when to let that anger loose and when not to.
Yeah.
There was a video a couple years ago. There was a woman just beating the hell out of this dude, hitting him in the head 5, 6, 7 times.
Right.
Finally, he's had enough,
Yep.
and he swings and he puts her on the ground. I was with him up to that point because the very next thing he did was beat the crap out of her.
No, all you had to do was just stop the beating.
All you had to do was stop the beating.
All you had to do was
You know,
stop the beating.
So
I
there's
think in
definitely
his
a
mind
time-
though, he's thinking, okay, I need to get my pound of flesh.
Yes,
Not really.
not really. That's when you curb the anger.
It's called self-defense for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I've stopped this from happening. Now we're done.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, you blackened my eye and shattered my jaw.
Your turn.
My turn. No. Now you've crossed the line. Now 7 people are ganging up on you, and it ends ugly.
And too many times in the home, you hear all the stories in it. If you scare your kids more than a typical parent is supposed to scare their kids,
Mm-hmm.
and trust me, we're supposed to scare our kids to some degree. But if your kids are legitimately scared of you
Mm-hmm.
because of your anger, seek help.
Yeah.
Be a man up, say I've got a problem, and go get it fixed.
Yeah.
Now, if you scare your kids to the point where they do what they are told, so be it. That's being a parent. Moms do it too.
And then the scaring ends.
Yes, and then the scaring ends.
Right. I mean, there are times where, there are times where I've had to let, angry dad out and let my daughter know, you fouled up.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. I'm going to sit you down. You're in timeout. And I'm going to tell you why in a very voluminous tone. And she's been afraid of that.
Yeah.
Now, when that is over, then we sit down and I talk to her calmly.
And angry dad goes away.
And I let her know, this is what happened. This is what you should have done. Do you understand? And that's that. Okay? Because that time there is, we've designated that time not just for her to, to reflect on what she's done, but you've lit my fire.
Right.
And I need to extinguish it before I start throwing things through windows like your mother, because that's not going to work.
No.
And so at the end of that, we're both calm, and I get my sorry snuggles, and we play.
And it's all over.
Yeah.
It's knowing when.
So yeah, so there's definitely, there's definitely a level of manliness to knowing when to curb the anger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, anything out there, whether it's anger, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be, there's a certain level of manliness to knowing that you need help and getting the help.
And that's another thing. I think growing up as men, our role models instilled in us that we never needed help. We were the
No.
ones who gave the help. And I think that shows a level of weakness in our humanity.
Yes. I think that's
Because-
hurt us, actually, as men.
Because when you go through life thinking that I don't need help, I can do anything, I can do anything I set my own mind to. I can fix any problem, even my own. Well, if you're having a problem, it's most likely because you don't know how to fix it. And I can tell you, talking things through, whether you're sitting down in therapy or just talking to somebody else and go, listen, just stop, just listen to me for a minute. Just let me say this out loud and get it out. Maybe I'll ask for your opinion at the end. Maybe
Right.
I won't. Because by the end, if I get this all out and I'm like, wow, you know what? Thank you. Knowing that none of us can really do can really do the life by ourselves. That's a sense of manliness.
Well, I mean,
Earl is letting the light flag fly on that. Thank you, Earl. But there's so much that we as men are burdened with,
yeah,
that we as men are tasked with, that we're responsible for. It's a wonder that more of us don't absolutely lose our shit on a regular basis. And I
going
think-
postal should by far be a more common thing if you really think about it.
And I think it's because, there are those of us who still know within our hearts, hold on a second, the way I'm feeling right now is pretty foobar.
Yeah,
And I'm either going to get drunk or I'm going to get violent or I'm going to get help. I like the drunk idea, but I could end up wrapped around a telephone pole. So let me go find somebody to talk to
yeah,
and work this out. And in the end, everybody, including yourself and those around you, are going to be better off for it.
right. So, the takeaway from this, I guess, is a certain amount of manly anger is normal and manly and expected, but know when to seek help, know when you're taking it too far.
You gotta know when to hold
Oh
on.
dear God.
Oh man,
Don't gamble,
Earl.
But no, just like I said, a certain amount of it is normal, a certain amount of it is expected, but know when it's too far, know when to get help. And I think, like you said, that's one thing that we are not good at. I mean, at best, we're typically good at getting together with our friends and just bitching about our wives over a couple of beers. But that doesn't always solve the problem because we don't always say the things that we need to get off our chest.
Right.
And sometimes it does take an outside source because we need somebody that's not going to judge us. We need somebody that's not going to tear us apart, or as women are prone to do. Oh, yeah, well, what about this one time 5 years ago where you did this?
Oh.
We're not talking about that right now. We're
Oh
talking
my
about what
God.
I'm mad about. So, if you have to, if your anger's out of control, definitely go get help.
The other half of that,
Earl agrees. He does love to gamble.
yes, he does. The other half of that is if you cannot recognize when you've gone too far, and a lot of times you can't. There may be others around you, there may be those closest to you who will let you know, who will have the manliness in them to
Yeah.
let you know, hey, by the way, this might be a little too far.
Yeah,
This might be a line you've crossed. This might be something you might want to work on.
That's another thing. If we're not talking about you yourself, I mean, if you've got a friend, a brother, whatever that is taking it too far, you know, man up and say something to them.
Right.
You don't have to be an ass about it necessarily, but man up and say something to them.
Right. Because, and I think that, you know, Ben and I had touched on this a couple of Fridays ago when we were doing the Friday show in regards to the rash of suicides
Right.
that is going on. You know, a lot of times, you know, everybody keeps talking about, you know, we need more mental health. We need more mental health. We need more mental health. I think, you know, somebody who is going through something that is driving them so dark to the point where this is a viable option,
Right.
they're not going to recognize that that there's an alternative, there's another way out, that, hey, you know, I really want to die, but let me go talk to somebody. That's not where their head is at that point in time. They, you know, it really comes to us, the people that are around them, to recognize, hey, you know, you really seem like you're off right
Yeah.
now.
And too many times we don't.
Right. Well, you know, and that where that comes into the other half of, you know, kind of the anger control and the fitness and the emotional health, and in saying that, you know, something just doesn't seem right. Talk to me. You know,
Yeah.
Is there something that, you know, you feel like you can talk to me about? You know, keep in mind, you know, we're just two guys. We're just shoot the shit. You know, if there's something that you feel, you know, that you want to talk about, great. You know, and maybe sometimes you don't even have to talk about what's bothering you. Just talk.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know what? Don't do it on here. Don't do it on your phone. Don't do it on
don't
Facebook.
publicize it.
Go to your
air
friend's
out
house.
Don't air out your dirty laundry. Show up at your friend's house with a bottle of scotch and a good burger and
Maybe
say
a cigar and have a good time and talk to your friend.
cigars. Oh my goodness.
Sometimes, man, they're good.
Yeah, just every time I had a cigar, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have this cigar and now I'm going to hack for like the next 45 minutes. Because, you know, being a reformed smoker and
Right.
and a vapor now, even though, you know, having vaped since my blood sugar went through the roof, you know, I'm really prone to inhaling.
Yeah.
You inhale a cigar, you're going to remember that for
You're
a
going to
couple of
remember
hours.
it for a while.
And so every time I have that, it's like, you know, I inhale and it's like, okay, here's your body's way of saying, wrong answer. So, yeah, it's just
But no.
cigars, the poor man's cigarette.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
But no, definitely take the time to actually talk to your friends. You know, your friends, your family, whoever the case may be, talk to them in person. If you see something going on, don't do it via social media. In fact, I actually, this kind of relates, talk about veterans here. There's that whole statistic that 22 veterans a day kill themselves. And I recently saw a post with regard to Anthony Bourdain killing himself. And it said, you know, the country gets so upset over a famous person that kills himself, but doesn't get upset about 22 veterans a day.
Right.
What good does that post do? Nothing. There are and I actually,
What
for the last
good is
couple
it going
times,
to do to actually get upset?
yeah,
Here's the thing, and I'm going to touch on this as gently as I can, because, you know, for the times that you and I had served, neither of us had really ended up spending any real time in any hot zone.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you know, we did our duty. We stayed in stateside. We stayed in support environments, and that was that. Didn't make any of our service less meaningful.
no,
But we never spent time in hot zones. And having said that, you know, I can tell you unequivocally, I have no idea what goes through the mind of a combat veteran. I can tell you I've talked to them. I can tell you I've talked to many people who have been in hot zones. And, you know, they've described some of the experiences they've had, but I have no idea what that feels like. When you come back from those environments and you still relive some of those things in your head because they're still so fresh, when you come back from those environments and this environment makes no sense to you because that was the new norm. Your head becomes completely rewired.
Yeah.
And again, through the VA and through other meaningful groups, there's a lot of good support out there. But that outreach, again, it's a case of it's not so much a case of saying, "Hey, we're here for you." It's more of a case of saying, "Come."
Yeah.
It's a case of those folks saying, I need to do something about this because I need to recognize that these feelings are not feelings that I'm supposed to have. And so, when it comes to, the suicide rate amongst veterans, what veterans are going through nowadays, especially when you end up going into hotspots more than once.
Yeah, multiple times.
Your mindset is going to be a completely different way of thinking. We talked about, hey, I held my child for the first time, and I shared that video that I remember watching. I shared that video on Father's Day, the Barney Stinson video. I wept again when I watched that because I remember seeing that the first time, and I remember seeing that again, and I remember that is the exact same feeling.
Yep.
Your brain becomes completely rewired when things like this happen. But again, it comes down to having that kind of support system that says, okay, your brain is rewired. Okay, you have this really unusual way of thinking that has gotten you scared. You are not alone. We are here to help you. You are alone in your head. Nobody knows what you're feeling or what you're thinking but you. People here have had similar thoughts.
Yep.
People here have had similar experiences. Let us guide you through what we've done and see if it works for you.
Well, and this is where I wanted to tie it in. I mean, instead of posting like that on Facebook, get involved with one of the organizations.
Yep.
Instead of sending your buddy a text, hey, something seems off, get involved and go to your buddy's house.
Yep.
Take an active role in a situation like that. If you're not the one going through the issue, but you recognize a buddy is, take an active role.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few minutes left here. If you want to call in, 330-871-4422. I'd like to hear your thoughts on manning up and actually admitting when you need help. Like I said, we got a few more minutes.
So, as we're starting to wind down here, what do you got going on this weekend?
I'm not sure what I got going on this weekend, actually.
Wide open.
Wide open.
Well,
at the
okay.
moment. Let me look at my calendar.
Let me rephrase the question. What does your wife have going on for you for this weekend?
My wife has nothing, but we do have your son's graduation party.
That's right. That's right. You guys are coming out for that.
Yeah, we're coming out for that.
I am going to try to get as much sleep as I can on Saturday. Although my family will probably have other plans for that. And Sunday,
of course,
I have to run out early, pick up the pizza, run out there, help set up and festivate.
Other than that, I'm probably, as long as the weather holds, I'm going to just work around the house, get some yard work done.
I'm hoping the weather holds. I keep looking at AccuWeather and trying to decipher what it says. And it's funny because when you look at that hourly breakdown, it's like, okay, well, this hour you're going to have thunderstorms. This hour it's going to be sunny. This hour you're going to have rain. I'm like, welcome to Northern Ohio.
Yeah.
This is what it is. You're just going to have all 5 seasons in a week.
Yeah.
Didn't we have that once? Like,
what was that meme? Like, you can't have all seasons in 1 week, and Ohio's like,
I was like, here, hold
beer.
my beer. Watch this. Watch me pull this off. So yeah, I'm trying to gauge. Okay, well, on Sunday, what's actually going to happen? And that's the fun part of weather prediction. You got no idea.
No clue.
There was one day during the week where it was supposed to be sunny and clear and beautiful all day, and I got to my office and within 30 minutes, torrential downpour all day long. I couldn't go for a walk. I couldn't go anywhere. I was like, it better end by 5 o'clock because if I have to go to the bus stop in the rain, I'm going to be moist.
Well, hell, you had to say moist on the radio. You've been waiting to say moist.
Moist.
But weather prediction's a whole nother joke in and of itself, because who else can get paid that much to be wrong all the f***ing time?
Most of the time, at least.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we're wrong a lot.
but we don't get
We don't
paid.
get paid. But we're wrong.
No, we don't get paid.
But we're moist. It's going to be a new thing now. Tune in to hear Aaron say moist. Well, 2 weeks ago it was, oh my.
Now it's moist.
Now it's moist.
And man tips.
And moist man tips. Oh boy. Are we?
This show is going south real fast.
We got 5 minutes left. We're just hanging on by threads here.
One of our other on-air personalities, Pat, says if you don't like the weather in Ohio, wait around 16 minutes, it'll change.
Yep. But
That's pretty much true.
is it raining? Yes. No. Wait. I
Wait,
think.
hang on.
Wait. And
It
it stopped. Moist. Our new drinking game. Take a shot every time Aaron says moist. So Earl is back at his place just hammered now because I've said it like 10 times. Like,
Not
I can't
moist.
keep up. Stop.
Not moist man tits, Earl. Moist man tips.
Moist.
TIPS. Man tip.
Why, Earl? Why? I'm calling in tomorrow night. I'm going to talk about my moist man tips now, just to have some fun.
If you're listening, this is the Man Apocalypse, where everything's moist.
Moist. Oh, we're going to catch up when we get home. It's like, did you have to say moist that often? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
And if you're playing the moist drinking game,
You're hammered.
you should be calling 911.
Alcohol poisoning is in your future.
And very real.
Oh, so we got the party this weekend. What else is coming up? 4th of July is coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah, right around the corner. That should be a good time.
You have
I'm sure. I'm
Here's
gonna
the fun
barbecue
part.
Some meat.
it's on a Wednesday and we got a show the next day.
Yeah.
That's going to be some fun. We're going to come in all sunburnt and fat from meat.
Yep.
And
I'll probably still have meat sweats on Thursday. Meat sweats are a real
sweats.
thing.
he's going to be moist from his meat.
Yep.
Oh, and Earl, of course, is talking about our moist crotches.
Yep.
Boy, Earl, you just need to get out moist. No, see, Earl, it doesn't count when you type moist into the comments. That just,
Aaron has to say it.
I
You have to drink.
actually say it. You can't type it. It doesn't count.
No being overzealous. We appreciate the effort, though.
He's going to end up on this show one day and just completely throw it out the window. So
Oh.
it's going to turn the Man Apocalypse into just Armageddon.
Yep.
Manageddon.
Manigeddon.
There you go.
Man tips.
Moist man tips. Moist. Ah, Earl's drinking again. That's the fun part. If we get Earl in on a drinking game, it's one thing. Let's get Ben in, Dylan.
Oh,
Get Dylan in on the drinking game.
if we get Dylan in on the drink,
Forget it.
this show will be over.
So Earl wants me to repeat everything he's saying. Yeah, it doesn't work that way, but we could play along. It'll be fun. Get Dylan to drink when we say it. Oh, and put that on the air.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
We tried that. That was fun. So, big party this weekend. See you again next week. We'll try to have more topics, more fun, more
Hope you guys
insights.
enjoyed this show tonight.
This has been the Man Apocalypse radio show here on SKO Radio Network. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week, Thursday night, 7 to 10. I will be here.
I will be here.
Finish big.
Finish strong and finish anywhere.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys.